What's up, guys? Welcome back to Kinda Funny's Toy Story in Review. That's right. We are ranking and reviewing every single movie in the Toy Story franchise. This is the last time we're going to use that intro. That's really sad.
I know.
It was a good one.
In a decade, you'll do it again.
10 more years.
Definitely was going to be a Toy Story 5 for sure.
That's Nick Scarpino. We got Greg Miller, Belinda Garcia, Andy Cortez, and me, Tim Gettys. How y'all doing? You can get this show.
I can't live.
When you walking down the road?
As soon as he fucking started, I'm like, God, here we fucking go again.
I reminded them this morning, and I have so many regrets.
We made it through 3 without it.
I just don't understand why they keep giving this man money to write these asinine songs.
And the Bo Peep is out the window.
It's a skunk. It's a skunk. It's not a skunk. I see a car. I see a car. It's a skunk.
People are
So
sad,
bad.
but they won't be forever.
You can watch this show live every Tuesday at 11 a.m. on twitch.tv/kindafunnygames, or you can watch the video later on youtube.com/kindafunny or roosterteeth.com, or you can listen to it as a podcast. Just search for Kinda Funny Reviews in your favorite podcast service. Oh man, how you guys doing?
Great.
Great.
When did we all watch this movie?
I think I watched it Thursday or Friday of last week.
Yeah, we watched
So a
it.
few, like 4 days ago.
Oh yeah, you watched it Wednesday. You got that pre-show shit going
I
on.
watched it with you, but I had trouble getting to the movie. Let me tell you.
All right, let's start there.
So wait, let me ask you, was it Todd again?
No,
Because if Todd's coming at you, bro,
Let me
we will
tell you
fuck Todd up.
How I had trouble getting to this movie. I think the last time we saw a movie at the IMAX portion of the Metreon was maybe The Last Jedi. Is the last one that I went to.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember the number of the theater. I don't remember like there being an IMAX. I don't remember anything like that.
Sure.
And so you walk in the fucking thing, and it's right in front of you.
Yeah, it's huge.
But I just like I didn't know we were seeing it in IMAX.
You were
I just
overwhelmed.
I just didn't know, right?
You were shocked and overwhelmed.
Because I just didn't read my fucking ticket or whatever.
Scared, you were scared.
And so I see theater 16. And so like, oh, theater 16. I'm like, all right, cool. So I'm just walking and I'm walking and I'm walking, and I get all the way to the end. I'm like, theater 15's right here, and there's nothing else past this. What the fuck?
It
And
is
like,
weird that 16 it goes 16 and then 1 through 15.
But check this out. So I walk in. So I look at theater 15, Toy Story 4 at 6 p.m. Like, well, that's what we're watching. Shit, I guess it's printed wrong. Maybe I walk in. I'm like, there's no row K on here. This doesn't go up to the letter K. What is going on? And I sit down for a bit and I watch a bit of the intro. I'm like, I need to find everybody because I don't know where. Like, is somebody playing a prank on me?
You're like Forky.
Our sweet summer child.
Check this out. I walk out of the fucking theater. There's a guy sweeping popcorn, an employee there. I'm like, hey man, where's theater 16? And he was like, it should be oh shit. Normally you keep walking, but fuck, it ends at
It's like the 13th floor.
He's like, it ends at 15, huh? And I was like, yeah. And he's like,
Guess there is
shit,
none.
hold on, let me check my listings. He looks at the listings, he's like, yeah, bro, I don't even see a 16 on here. That's crazy.
Oh my
and I'm
God.
like, yeah. He's like, yeah, sorry, bro. So I walk back to 15, and I just sort of stand there near the staircase, and the movie's like maybe 10 minutes in.
Yeah.
It's like, fuck, what did I... And then a guy walks in, and I'm like, hey, do you work here? He's like, yeah. I was like, where's theater 16? He's like, oh, it's the IMAX. It's the first thing you see when you... I was like, God, I'm such a fucking moron. And then I
Did
walked
you look
back
at your ticket and see
Does
the
it say
giant
IMAX
IMAX on your
It
ticket?
says IMAX.
It was on the phone. It was on the... I don't know.
I see.
It just said 16 with
Gotcha.
the seat
That's
number
fair.
or
That's
whatever.
fair. That's
And I walk back out, and the guy sweep is like, oh, bro, it's the IMAX. I'm like, yeah, dude, like, thank you.
Yeah, I see. I figured it
45
out.
minutes into the movie, and he walks in with the biggest fucking popcorn, just like
that's so
scooching
funny.
by him. Like, God damn it,
Man,
so
it was
fucking funny.
like, I thought I was being punked. Like, the fact that the theater guy was like, damn, that sucks, bro. That's crazy. I was like, yeah, that's crazy.
I love
It's almost
Alyssa's
as good as that time we had a flight and Andy showed up and didn't go into the flight.
He's like, where
He
are
just
you
sat in
guys?
the lobby of the
We're
airport. Like, where are you?
on
We're
the
like,
plane. And he's like, oh, I thought we were meeting.
I was like, I've been here for like 2 hours.
It was so fucking
fucking
funny.
check in, you idiot.
I love Alyssa's perspective of this, where like we're all together getting our tickets, like going through, and like I go to the bathroom, and her side of the story is she's like about to go in with everybody else, sees you, And like,
well, because they had carded me, like because of the AMC shit.
She looks,
so I have to like, well, let me put down all my fucking snacks and bust out my, you know.
So she looks back at you and she's like, "Oh, he's an adult. He's fine. Like, I don't need to wait for him." And obviously that she needed to wait for
45 minutes
you.
later, she's like, he's been kidnapped.
Like I walked to the elevators, like, is this like on a second floor? What's like past 15? There's nowhere else.
That's
Like,
so fucking funny. I saw it in IMAX as well, but I was running just a little bit late, and so everything was fine. Got parked, moved, started kind of the light jog, like I'm not trying to like let everyone know that I'm late, but I'm like I don't want to miss the bit. And I get to the escalator, and there's two dudes standing side by side on the escalator, and I'm like, oh, you guys have not been to Japan. This is rude. You have to, if you're gonna stand, you got to stand over to the right. So I politely I was like, hey guys, I'm sorry, can I squeeze by? And I squeeze by, and I start doing the jog. And as I'm jogging up the escalator, I hear them making fun of me. One guy goes, oh, I'm so late. Oh, I'm so late. And I looked back, I was like, hey, that's really rude, but I am late. Like, he's not wrong. So
you look back and it was you.
I was like, it's so rude that he did that, but it was so fucking funny. And I was like, also, just if I had just been like 2 minutes earlier, I would have been like, hey, dude, that's really inappropriate. And also, don't you guys know to stand to the left? But I was like, I'm having this inner monologue as I'm already through the gate, like running into the IMAX.
Freaking funny.
Oh, I'm so late. I was late. All right, and then I heard the other guy kick into, are you late too? I'm like, hey, fuck you two. Fuck you guys.
Today we were talking
No,
about
I got one too. I went and saw it in
Story 4.
Quebec. I saw it in Quebec, right?
Jesus Christ. Was it in French?
No, I went to an English screening. I took the photos, the poster is in French out there.
Yeah.
But when we got there, like it's a small Quebec theater or whatever. It's like we opened the door and walked in, and it was still like it was already on the screen. And I was like, and Jen was like so mystified. I'm like, oh, it's ending. She's like, what do you mean it's ending? I'm like, well, the movie. She's like, they run the movies back to back. I'm like, have you not been to a movie? I mean, I understand it's not like that much anymore. Now it's very
now
clear.
it's wait
like pre-shows and this, and there's longer gaps. I'm like, yes, they run the same movie over and over and over again. They try to She's like, but there's only gonna be like 10 minutes. I'm like, well, yeah, the theaters are never clean. Like, it's like, you know what I mean?
They just sweep it all into the chair.
We walked back in and sat down during the credits, and she's like, what is happening? I'm like, this is how I grew up watching movies. Like, you know what I mean?
weird.
You get there and I'm early, but my movie's ending, whatever.
I've never experienced that.
Really?
I mean, back in the day.
Yeah.
Like maybe 25 years ago, that used to be the case. But that was before they realized they could just beat you over the head with television commercials for like 45 minutes.
I still
got some Maria Menounos.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm Maria Menounos. Check out my dope
Do they
Star
have her
Trek
in
shoulders.
Quebec?
No.
No?
Well, what they had was the normal trailers, and then these really terrible trailers that look like worse than Toy Story 1 CGI, where I'm like, what? And like and Jen's like, oh, these are imported from France. I'm like, ah, fuck. Okay, that
It's
makes
bone
sense.
carne.
I'm waiting for Belinda to go. At my theater, there was a tiger on the loose, just like running around.
Nope, everything was perfect. I was there on time.
I figured out how to get into the theater.
I know exactly where theater 16 is at the Metro.
So finally, we are talking about Toy Story 4, released on June 21st, 2019, directed by Josh Cooley. In 2015, Cooley worked as a screenwriter and storyboard supervisor on the film Inside Out. This is his directorial
nice little promotion.
debut.
Wow.
Yeah. Just like that Nintendo guy. You think he got promoted?
Oh, no. God, no.
A budget of $200 million and a box office currently of $244.5 million. A little box office mojo action here. With an estimated $118 million, Disney and Pixar's Toy Story 4 topped the weekend box office, though fell well short of the studio's $140+ million expectations, not to mention Box Office Mojo's lofty weekend forecast. The performance is, however, the best of the franchise, topping Toy Story 3's $110 million back in 2010, and fourth largest animated opening of all time. So those are hardly milestones you can ignore. It's also worth mentioning that this is the third largest opening weekend of the year, giving Disney the top 4 openings of 2019.
Jesus.
A runtime of 1 hour and 40 minutes, bucking the trend of adding 10 minutes to every Toy Story movie.
Good.
This
Was
one's
this shorter or longer than
3 minutes shorter?
Okay.
Yeah. A substantial 3 minutes. Let's hit it with the plot, Nick.
Sure. Let me open it.
So this is weird because like doing the plot for movies that are in theaters, Nick can't take his copious notes.
Yeah,
So we have to
they won't let me
refer-
just pause it and rewind it every 5 seconds.
We don't have brains like you, Greg.
Yeah, you do have an idiot savant brain where it's like you can't like clean your desk, but you can remember the lyrics.
It was super clean, as you know.
Yeah, that's fair.
You made a joke about masturbating to it.
Did I?
Yeah.
Oh, great. Let's kick it off. We start on a very, very rainy day. And apparently there's a rescue operation because RC is being swept down a storm drain, which sounds oddly like the beginning of, that's right, the hit movie It.
Wow.
Starring a bunch of kids who didn't come back for the sequel because now they're all grown up. It doesn't matter. Woody decides he wants to lead a successful rescue operation with the other toys, but while they're busy, Bo Peep and several other toys are being given away by Andy's younger sister, Molly, who is now presumably grown up.
Man, I wish I could have seen all this. Sounds like really good stuff.
I know. It really? It does. Yeah.
What? So
Didn't know RC was in it.
when did you get in?
45 minutes into the movie.
Nobody saw the first 10. I thought
No,
they
he's
were.
starting with the marionettes.
during the song.
Like I
my
caught a
God.
glimpse of him telling Bo Peep goodbye or whatever.
Yeah.
Or her telling him goodbye
Yeah.
underneath the car and it's
Yeah.
raining.
Yeah.
And then that's when I was like, I gotta find everybody. I'm so scared.
You're like, I'm connecting with these toys that need to find each other. I need to find my friends. No, I thought this, again, I know we talk about this every time. Great animation here.
Oh
So
my
beautiful,
God.
So
right? You know what I
beautiful.
mean? It's such a great, just another toy mission for them to be on. That's great. And I love it. It fills in what happened to Bo Peep, obviously, right? When we got it from Toy Story 3. Yeah, even Bo. And so to see, RC getting swept away, I was doing that thing of like, wait, was he in Toy Story 3? Is this really, are they about to kill RC? I was even like not 100% sure where we're going because I'm an idiot and didn't watch any of the trailers really. And so when they jump down and it's the Slink rescue operation, again, they know what they're up to. They know what they're doing and they get out there and they save RC and then have the window closed the last second. See Bo get picked up, the sheep get picked up and put in the box, right? And the names of the sheep, Billy Goat Gruff, it's so great. But yeah, then to get them all the way out to the car and they're out to rescue there. And then like this really, again, like these toys who have to keep wrestling. We wrestled this in 3, right? What is the mission of these toys?
Right. And like God, when she's like, you don't need to, you can just come here. You just get lost. It's
Yeah.
like, oh no, don't do that.
Yeah.
I kind of wish they killed RC though. I know it's dark. But I kind of wish that they just fucking did it. I loved this intro though because it was so different than the other movies. Like
Yeah,
all the
it
other
wasn't
ones
a
was them
dream sequence of
playing
them
and having
playing,
fun
yeah.
and imagination. And this was just like, this is dark as fuck.
reality,
Let's
Right.
go.
yeah.
We know how to animate beautifully, and we're gonna do that and show off everywhere.
Yeah, they put
Yeah,
like a whole
that's
different.
literally what they
put a
did.
whole different like visual look to this whole brand new movie where I feel like it's a lot less saturated and a lot less
Right.
cartoony and
Well-
like I feel like the realism was punched up, the lighting,
That's
everything
absolutely.
felt kind of like more diffused and like based in reality.
That's one of my only critiques with the movie because I had a lot of fun watching this, but there are moments where they do dip into uncanny valley territory where it looks real. And I'm not like part of like the kid in me was like, am I watching a Child's Play movie right now? Like with some of the marionettes and specifically the Gabby doll.
Yeah.
I was like, like there are moments where it looks real and she turns to the camera and you're like, this is fucking
crazy.
horrifying.
I loved it.
I mean, I know.
I
thought it
couldn't
was
look
great,
at the
but as
screen.
a
I couldn't look
kid's
at the screen.
animated movie, I was like, this is getting a little intense.
If I saw this as a kid, I would be terrified.
sure, yeah.
Terrified.
They even make
the way
fun of it. There's a moment where they're walking away. The thing looks back, and Tony Hale goes, "It's terrifying."
Yeah,
I think it's when he says bye to him, and
Yeah,
he was all
it's
like,
like,
"You're terrifying."
terrifying.
it's the same sort of feeling that I had being scared of Sid and his like mutant monsters growing up. Like that,
Yeah.
man, I can't imagine being a 10-year-old watching this shit.
I looked away, like I wouldn't like that. I was like, I don't fuck with marionettes like that.
So after Bo reassures them that part of being a toy is being taken away, they share a heartfelt goodbye, and we flash forward 2 years later. That we're now in Bonnie's room.
We get the montage here. We get the OG, You Got a Friend in Me song
You
playing.
got
And it's like
a woman,
kind of the plot of all the
man.
movies.
Yeah.
I enjoyed that a lot.
So it's 2 years.
Oh, but then it ended, and they immediately fucking get me going. I'm just like, you motherfuckers. Where
I
the
was
camera goes
already-
down,
yeah.
and then you see Bonnie's name on Andy's foot. I was just like, you
Woody's foot, yeah.
fucking assholes.
But I like that because that's what this movie is really about, right? It's about like we catch up with the toys, and Woody is no longer the toy that Bonnie he's no longer the chosen toy. He's no longer the favorite toy, right? Jesse,
sorry.
what's up? No, I was gonna say we have a great moment where Jesse gets chosen. And they call in the sheriff, and Woody gets ready to go, and they're all getting ready to get out there. And she picks up Jesse and takes the star off of Woody's chest, which I thought was actually really cool.
And I like that
Awesome.
Ragdoll was still in charge, right? And like you still see Woody struggling with giving up leadership and getting up and talking.
Right,
She has to
right.
talk him down.
These
and put
movies
him
are too good.
God, they're so
And-
freaking
and-
good, dude.
And like just taking a moment, like that's what I really liked about this one is like we're on well treaded territory here, right? Well worn
Right.
territory. There's nothing in this movie that's specifically new to the franchise, but they always find they manage to find the one part of like the soul of the character that they can really dig into, and that's what I liked about this one. Is they're like, we know this is gonna be the same freaking movie you've seen 4 times, but like, what's this about? Okay, it's really about Woody letting go.
It's
and
about
Woody
existence. It's like, what does it mean to exist?
Well, what's it mean to have
with Forky? It's just like,
once had a purpose and then not have a purpose anymore. Like, there's lots of themes here. Anyway, long story short, they all start playing, but guess what? It's we got to go to school. It's Bonnie's first day of kindergarten class.
If I give one quick shout out here, I didn't know this till I did the IMDb because I was like, I wanted to verify a few voices, and I didn't pick up on any of this. When Woody's left alone in the closet with the old toys, the old toys are Betty White, Carol Burnett. Like it's that old Mel
They're
Brooks.
old comedians.
Oh yeah, I heard Mel Brooks. That was awesome.
That's great.
Yeah.
Of course, mom and dad come in and say it's time to go. Bonnie is not liking this. She doesn't want to go. It's a new change. There's a new thing. She doesn't want to do it.
Woody says strange things.
Woody's like, dude, we got to go with her. I just imagine 5-10 years from now, they just find Randy Newman in a room screaming to himself. He has no idea where he's at anymore.
There's going to be like an expose 50 years after Randy Newman's death. And it's going to be like, did you guys know he was deaf the whole time?
Yeah, he had no idea
all
what
the
was going
off-key
on.
singing never tipped me off.
Also,
this guy didn't hear anything.
He thought he was in Europe the entire time. He didn't know. The toys
got kicked by a mule.
So Woody starts making an argument. Hey, we got to go with her. Kindergarten's hard. She's not dealing with this well. Someone's got to go with her. And what was the Ragdoll?
Dolly
was like, no, if you go, something bad's gonna happen. Just let her go. This is what life is. Let her go. They turn around, of course. Bonnie comes back in, crying, whatever, yada yada. They turn around and Woody's gone. The bag's gone.
Oh, the old backpack maneuver.
The old backpack maneuver, right? And we get a little. This is a good. To me, that's I like this scene where it's like you're like reliving that first day of kindergarten where you're not sure. All the other kids are being dicks to her for no reason.
Right.
Apparently, they all know each other, even though it's their first day of kindergarten as well, which seemed weird.
Pre-K, they all went to pre-K together.
Did they go to pre-K together?
That's right,
they're those assholes, like the theater
Right.
kids in my school that all went to fucking junior high together, and they came and they were like, we don't like Nick because he wasn't in our junior high. And I was like, I went to a tougher junior high, but I'm smarter than you guys. Doesn't matter. My life worked out better.
It's true. It did. So they have documentaries about their comedy career, Andy?
Exactly.
No.
Exactly.
That's a good point, Greg.
Free screening this Friday at Mutiny Radio. 8 p.m. So of course Woody's there and he's there for her, and it's arts and crafts time, and it's time to build something, and some kid just
He
walks
comes
up.
over. She's all excited. She's going to be able to talk to him. No, just snatches the cup of stuff and walks
Fucking
away.
little piece of shit.
Little kids, man.
Woody,
Never
of
trust
course, Bonnie starts crying. I think the kid throws the shit in the trash, doesn't he? At some
no,
point,
he bangs into the trash and it like parts of it falls
falls
out or
in,
something
right?
like
So Woody gets the bright idea. Hey, I'm gonna pull a mission. Sneaks out, gets into the trash, and then starts throwing stuff like so she can figure it out. Like you see it. When she turns around, he throws a bunch of other shit on the table, including a fork and one of those little pipe cleaners and all that stuff. Little googly eyes, all these fun little things. And she looks over and is happy that she can actually interact with something. And he watches as she
Creates life.
As she creates this
She's
one of
God.
the main characters, which is Forky.
Life finds a way.
Finds a way. Forky, of course, changes her whole reality around. She's very, very happy now because she's made a friend. She has something to interact with, and she has a toy that can make her happy. And I think from there we go back to Bonnie's house, right? And everyone's a little pissed at Woody because he wasn't supposed to go on that mission.
Could have screwed everything up.
Could have screwed
Now here's the
everything
thing,
up.
though. I feel like this is the moment that we could have got Potato Head being a dick. Potato Head, not a dick. This movie doesn't cause a lot of shit.
Doesn't really do anything in this movie.
Yeah, he
Right,
doesn't.
yeah.
His voice actor passed away.
None of them do
Yeah.
much. Yeah, the little trivia thing there is Don Rickles died in April 2017, and his family asked Pixar to include him and use unused lines from the other movies, video games, and other media. So they kind of placed it together.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
Yeah, but like the whole cast of the movie is not in it much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At
Which-
one
The
point, even
original
with Joan
cast.
Cusack, I was like, "Is that Joan Cusack?"
Yeah,
because
right?
like she didn't
Sounded a
sound
little
normal.
different.
Yeah. And did George's mom from Seinfeld, Mrs. Potato Head, die? Because she has like no lines in the whole movie.
she's
And I was like, huh,
there.
but she still gets credited. And
I
was like,
feel like maybe if they couldn't use Mr. P, like they had such a good back and forth that maybe
Sure.
they just dumbed them all down.
I think it's more just
Because
like
even Buzz isn't
focusing
in
on
this
Woody
movie that much.
yeah, Buzz
he's
is not
not.
a main
But also,
character.
it's like
I think
you
it's
have to
Woody's
let
movie.
go of like that group of toys, and there's like a bunch of new
like the
people,
Avengers.
so they had to like balance everybody.
And what
Yeah,
I,
you know?
Yeah,
it's actually kind of interesting because I like that it's more Bo and Woody's movie, and I like that they were actually able to turn the bad guy around. Anyway, we'll go back to it. We'll get to there. So of course everyone's like, Woody, you could have screwed up, and he's like, listen, it's okay. Bonnie made a friend, and everyone's like, oh, she made her first friend. He goes, no, Bonnie made a friend. And that's when we get introduced to arguably the best character in the entire Toy Story universe, Forky, who just wants to live in the trash. And it's, to me, every time
trash. It's great.
Every time he said trash and looked at it like it was Mecca, I lost my shit. Tony Hale is fucking hilarious, and he was perfect in this role. They introduce everyone to Forky. Forky just does not want to be a toy. He is trash. He knows he's trash. He was supposed to be a fork that was meant to just get eaten once, maybe with some chili or whatever, you know, and just get thrown away. And so we get the montage of Woody going, look, this is Bonnie's best friend. Like, she needs him. She needs him to get through kindergarten. That's what we're here for. So I'm going to take the reins, and I'm going to make sure that that Forky stays on point and doesn't throw himself out. And so we get that nice montage of her like trying to, every time she falls asleep, he gets up and jumps into the trash, and then Woody keeps throwing him back up on the bed until the very, very next day, which of course they're going on. So we've already set up that mom and dad are taking her on some sort of road trip across America, which, you know, when you were a kid, you just didn't really love that much, truth be told, you know, because you're like, you're taking me away from my video game system. I don't like that very much.
It's fair.
The RV maybe had a TV, maybe it didn't. But I was like,
so young.
Pokemon Red, yeah.
But everyone's going right, and so they got to get Forky on the thing.
And this is the part where I roll my eyes in the movie. I'm like, oh, is this whole movie going to be this annoying spork trying not to be with it? And I'm glad they got out of that pretty quick.
I mean, it didn't feel quick to me.
Yeah, it didn't feel quick to me either.
When I'm sitting there going like, I don't have a watch, but I'm like, it's going to be another hour of Forky being an idiot.
Sure.
Forky being a moron. Forky ruining everybody's life.
The trash jokes and jumping into the bin like
Funny
went on
times.
a little too long for me. Like
too much.
I got to a point where I was like,
like well, they did it a lot. Like when they stop and he looks up at trash. It got me. I thought it was funny. I thought it was just enough. Of course,
he's getting his own Disney Plus show.
I think it's the
Is he really?
montage
He asked
that
the question.
Jesus
Excellent.
God.
Excellent.
Yeah.
You welcome,
This
Linda?
I think the
stickly
montage
knockoff.
is what.
Don't think I don't
It's
see
a
it.
little long.
Don't think I don't see it, Pixar.
You know, of course, Woody. I glossed over a point where, you know, Woody's like, look, and they show him, you know, he shows the rest of the toys underneath Forky's little tongue depressors or whatever, and it's his Bon knee on both sides. Thought it was cute. Anyway, we get on the RV. Everyone's on the RV. All the toys are there. Forky, of course, has to be watched day and night by Woody. No other toys can share this burden at all.
Buzz offers, and Woody's like, no, it's my
Woody's
thing.
like, no, this is my thing.
Because again, now this Woody has purpose.
Yeah.
Right? Woody doesn't have purpose to be a plaything anymore, but
Exactly.
he can be this.
And it's so obvious that Bonnie is over Woody. Like every time she like picks him up, she only picks up Forky and doesn't care that Woody's
which
with
is
him.
such a slap in the face to Andy, who is very clearly like, oh, this is my favorite. It's like, can I? And he's like, oh, fuck, you're going to love him as much as I do. And then here we are 2 years later. Guess what? She doesn't give a flying fuck about him.
Don't
right?
have children. You know what I
Kids
mean?
should
Fuck 'em
you should just give them things they can choke on. That's what I'll say. Let them play with Legos at a young age. See, survival of the fittest.
Survival of the fittest.
Yikes.
Darwinism.
Forky, I believe, gets blown out the window next.
He opens the window and jumps out.
He just, fuck it, and just jumps out. That's after they've stopped at a rest stop and they've had to save him about 100,000 more times. Woody, of course, goes, we can't let this fly. I gotta go.
And I fucking love it where it's like, we're now 4 movies into this. And the first movie, when they had to go and like he had to rescue Buzz, that felt like such a like, oh my God, they're leaving the bedroom. This is insane.
Yeah.
Now we get it. He's like, 15 miles? I got
can
it.
do that.
I got
Yeah.
it. I'm like, holy shit, that's awesome.
Yeah, he sees the
like
GPS.
6
And he's like,
days.
how
Yeah,
far?
I was like,
And
We don't
with
get
those
tired.
tiny little legs, yeah, they never sleep. They never stop. They're like the Terminator.
Except for when they do sleep for plot devices.
Yeah, except for when Woody's like falling asleep.
That was a little weird.
Honestly, for a second in this movie, I did have the way,
he
like when
sleep?
Buzz doesn't, when he's like, oh, you know, like the voice inside you, your conscience or whatever, to Buzz, and Buzz like, I don't have that. I was like, is this movie about to become Woody as a person? Like, Woody has ascended from being a toy? I was like,
It's the sequel
He
to
gets cut
Pinocchio.
and blood comes out. Like,
That conversation felt so out of character for Buzz for me. Like, I don't. There was something about it where I was like, why are they making Buzz feel like he just found out he was a toy again?
Yeah,
like,
right.
agreed.
why are we having this?
He's been
conversation?
reset a bunch.
a lot of cocaine.
That's all I-
It was a little weird because I think
I rationalize it.
Barrett, I think I didn't quite get that until you just said it. But yeah, he kind of regressed a little bit because he's
Yeah.
kind of an idiot in this. Like hitting his, you know, they have that great conversation where
Right.
he's like, you got to listen to your inner voice, and Buzz just takes it very literally and goes, oh, I have an inner voice, and he just thinks it's the pull string.
And it was a funny bit. And
It's
it,
a
like,
funny gag.
Yeah.
But again, another one that may have gone on a little too long toward the end where he keeps hitting it. It's like, return to the base, return to this. I don't know. I think Buzz's character in this was very much like, they're like, we're not going to do too much with him in this one.
Yeah.
It really is about Woody and Bo Peep, and that's going to be the character, and Gabby, that's going to be the character dynamic. So anyway, Woody goes to tumbles out. finds
told
Forky,
the story, yeah.
and I think they have a great conversation where he's like, why do you keep wanting to go to trash? And he's like, I'm a spork. I'm supposed to be this. I'm not a toy. I don't know what a toy's supposed to be. I don't want to be with Bonnie. I want to be with trash. And he goes, well, to Bonnie, you are that feeling you get when you go to the trash where it's warm and safe and everything's okay. You are that to her.
Okay.
And then Randy Newman just screams blindly. He has no sense of
Before
left.
that,
I just feel like he goes in there and he's just like, here's what it is. And then like, Randy, are you listening to yourself? Like, this is, what are you doing?
he did one take and he's like, that's all.
That's it.
I'm
He's
out.
like,
there with
Krusty
his
the Clown.
cigarette, just like, now they're walking down the street and this is happening. All right, bye, guys.
They're like, that's not even the song we usually just sing.
Can you guys animate them walking down the street? Because shit, that's what's happening now.
I love the scene of them walking, like, and him giving the whole
It's-
plot.
Sure,
to the
yeah, that
movie.
was funny. Yeah,
When he's like
Like,
dragging him and then
thought
he
was a
walks and
toy?
then drags.
I know,
It's
right?
great.
Yeah, it was really good. And they bond, and then Forky finally gets it, and he finally understands he has a purpose, and that purpose is to be Bonnie's toy and give her that feeling of comfort and
Also-
joy and warmth.
In here, it's brought up that, Woody clearly still hung up on Andy, right?
Yeah.
He's
Yeah.
not even thinking about Bonnie. He's just pasting Bonnie's name over Andy's name.
And that's why I loved this scene so much because it like
one point he
it
even says
defined
Andy, right?
both
Yeah.
their
And she goes,
characters so much, like where Woody's at, and then also with Forky. I like where that's the moment he goes from being trash to being a toy.
Yeah.
Right.
It's cool shit.
Really cool. So they cover that 15 miles, like half a day, really. It doesn't even take that long. 'cause
It's
there's
5
this-
miles, first off, everybody.
it 5 miles?
Listen to him when he talks. All right? Amateur hour. You know what I'm saying?
Amateur.
Keep playing with your Keanu.
Amateur
Yeah,
hour. I love it.
Keanu.
High five, K-Fam sucks.
10 out of 2, but
Andy, you're the best.
They catch up to the RV park, and as they're walking, they see an antique store, and they're about to go. And he's like, "Great." They look over. They see the
light cascading out.
Well, not that. But before they see like the park and the RV store, and he goes, "Andy's," or Bonnie's right there. And Forky gets really excited. He goes, "Oh, she's right there." And then, of course, what catches Woody's eye is the light from
Night
her,
light.
yeah, the nightlight, the Bo Peep nightlight, and he thinks to himself, "Wait a minute, is that Bo Peep? Could she possibly be in there?" They've got a little time. The town hasn't woken up yet, so why not? Let's go check it out. They sneak into the antique store, and he looks over, and he finally sees the source of it, and it is in fact Bo Peep's nightlight, but there's no Bo Peep.
No peep.
No Peep.
And
to be
no
found.
sheep.
One, Andy.
Exactly. Give Andy credit for that one. As they're walking around, of course, they're seeing all these antiques. Who do they bump into? The most terrifying of all of the Toy Story characters ever. These marionettes that are
Benson's, right?
Benson, I think is what. Yeah,
Vincent.
Vincent. Was it?
Vincent.
I think there's a bunch of different names.
Yeah, I think they're all Bensons, those. The doll, whatever, doesn't matter.
So they from that point on, one of them wheels in the whatchamacallit, that like the old school
Bassinet.
fucking
Yeah.
terrifying just the bassinets, and who was in there? Gabby doll, played by Christina Hendricks, right?
Yep.
Who was, I didn't realize, I thought it was Drew Barrymore at first. I was like, did they dig Drew Barrymore out of retirement to come do this voice?
She's on that Santa Clara Diet show.
Whatever, dude. I don't
She's
watch
making
that
money.
shit. I don't watch that shit.
It's just 'cause you don't watch it doesn't mean it doesn't exist.
I mean, a lot of people like that show. A lot of people like that show. And I am, in fact, the Timothy Elephant fan. It doesn't matter.
You know what? I might watch it when
You know,
I get
actually, it sounds like a great show. It sounds
You're
like a
gonna
great
watch
show.
it.
Yeah. I'll probably check it out. I just finished Jessica Jones season 3.
How's that?
No, and we'll talk about it later. It was okay. So she, of course, the villain, right off the bat.
You know.
You look at her, you're like,
She got a bunch
get away
of
from this thing.
marionette
The
dummies walking
weighted
around.
eyes, like
Totally
the
creepy.
oh my god, so brilliant.
Looks at Woody, is like, hey, he's like, I'm looking for my friend Bo Peep. And she goes, oh, I know Bo. I'll take you to her. Clearly lying. Woody finally, after 4 movies, realizes, haha, motherfucker, I know you're the bad guy in this movie. I've seen this not once, not twice, but like 3 times now.
Thrice.
This is the 3rd time.
who knows how many other times?
We learned from the prospector. We learned from Lotso. I'm not falling for this, but of course he has no choice because the marionettes are like 5 times bigger than him. They put him in the thing. They go and she starts selling him on this. Hey, you're one of those dolls. You have a voice box. I bet it's the same voice box as mine. And you start to understand that her motives are to rip out his voice box,
Yeah.
so that she can use the voice box for herself. Hers is the voice box is her record's not damaged. It's just the player thing that's damaged. And we're probably from the same year, so we probably from the same factory, maybe with the same thing. I'm going to rip you apart like a fucking serial killer
very
and
scary.
steal your voice. And it's literally one of the scariest things that could ever. Thank God by the end of the movie it doesn't happen. Oh wait, it does. He actually lives the rest of his life with a giant scar down his back because the serial murderer has ripped out his fucking voice box.
He's the giving tree. He doesn't care.
When
He's
he
got no purpose.
when
now.
he mentions it, like, well, you know, mine's sewn in, so blah blah, and she's just kind of like, oh, it's all good. We'll get it
we'll
out
take
like,
care of it.
It's so terrifying.
So scary.
Terrifying.
No.
Because you don't know if he's like would be alive after that.
Or can he
right?
talk?
Right.
It was weird. Like,
Well, she could
the
talk
fact that
without
they
hers.
actually did
Right.
it. Like that was the moment. Like, oh my god, like we're
Yeah.
saying goodbye to Woody here. Like not because he's gonna die, but just like he doesn't have his shit anymore. Like that's
snake in my
insane.
burr. Oh no, help me.
He turns to Randy Newman.
Oh no, Randy.
That's oh man, we go full circle.
Open in his back. Open in his back. Taking out his voice.
I don't know. Sucks. My voice back.
Of course, Woody figures this out, tries to escape, but they kidnap Forky instead. He gets out, and I can't remember what happens next. Does he go back to the van? What the hell happens next? Let's look.
What goes on? Wait, where'd you leave off?
Will they
Sorry.
escape?
He escapes the antique store, but they
Yeah, because
kidnap
Bonnie
Forky, right?
and Bonnie and her mom come in. Right, this is where they come in, and then they grab Forky, and Woody runs off, and Woody then runs.
No, Forky stays.
Let's see, reach of the
with
town,
Gabby,
what is this?
Gabby.
behind.
Yeah, they. I'm sorry, not Bonnie. I'm saying the bad guys have.
Oh
her.
yeah.
So okay, we've also established here that Gabby also says, "Look, no kids ever wanted me because I'm broken. I've been dysfunctional from birth, basically. Like I was broken from birth." So we get that. Woody tries to escape the shop. Bonnie's RV is left without him, and he realizes that he left Forky behind. Woody reunites. Oh, okay, so this is where he meets Bo. Apparently,
He go to the playground.
Yes, I guess he goes to the playground. And
So
Yes.
this is what happens. The the shop owner's granddaughter finds Woody at this point. And
Right.
takes
Right.
Woody.
It wasn't Bonnie.
And-
or Mom, yeah,
and
you're right.
because
the-
he does the thing where he pulls the string, right, and she looks over.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
And goes, "Oh, a cowboy."
Yeah.
Takes him out of the shop, but Forky's still there. And then we get the great scene where he's in the sandbox.
Yes.
And all the toys are preparing, and we meet the GI Joes.
Combat
Combat
Carls.
Carls.
Yeah, we do.
All played by
Oh my-
Carl Weathers. Carl Weathers.
Yes.
Carl Weathers. Yeah.
Hell yeah! I didn't
Wow.
know
And that
That's
one
awesome.
Carl is always left
can't
hanging.
get-
Oh my
Yeah.
god, so
Not
great.
always.
Not always. We'll get to that.
You guys
later.
stayed then?
I didn't stay for that one.
Oh no,
but-
I had to go. We were late.
Yeah, we were.
Fuck
yeah,
your
it
after
was a
credit
long.
shit.
It was a
I
long.
got no
So
time for
good.
you.
So good.
Of course, he gets saved by Bo here, and Bo gets reintroduced, and she's a badass now. She has
Yeah,
been
she's
doing
awesome.
a lot of Bo staff training, and good for her. Yeah, there you
She's
go.
like
got
Ray.
the Bo staff.
Yeah.
She's a badass. They
Porcelain.
have this great moment where they reunite. We're not sure if it's his Bo, or a different Bo, because obviously toys can be, but it is in fact his Bo. She has a broken arm, which I thought was cool. She has like tape around it.
Didn't put it together until it gets pulled off.
Yeah, it didn't.
That
yeah.
bit was awesome.
And then so he tells him the whole story. We got to save Forky. We got to get back to Bonnie. She's like, you got a new kid, and he's like, yeah, I got a new kid. What have you been doing? She's like, I am just a toy, all on my own. I am a lot. He's like, you're a lost
Nomad.
toy. And she's like, I'm Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome. But the great part about it is I get to play with all these kids because
like,
I'm
"I've
a
been
part of this
found,
traveling
bro."
circus.
Yeah.
Did you pick up on who her voice actor was?
Annie Potts?
Annie
Yeah.
Potts.
Oh, yeah.
No,
Oh, yeah, bro.
It's the
Been
same-
from the beginning, doggy dog.
Well, yeah, sure, but I just don't remember.
But they were like, let's get.
They gave her nothing to work with. other
That's
than
true.
saying
Well,
cowboy.
she wasn't really much of a character until this movie,
Right.
which is great.
There's an awesome Easter egg where the sheep bring up all the trash that they're finding or whatever, and they bring up the grape soda
Oh
bottle
yeah,
cap.
yeah, from up.
Yeah.
Yes.
And she's
Oh,
like, nah,
interesting.
we don't need that.
I also loved when Woody couldn't remember the sheep's names
Yeah.
because it was earlier of like they have names.
Of course, they talk about like Combat Carl's super excited because there's like a birthday party happening or someplace, and
Yeah.
they're going to go get played with, and they really kind of paint a picture of like, hey, this world actually could be great. You could have you
You're
can
like
just
a
be found and
freelancer.
yeah, it's fun. You can just go get played with.
You're a nomad.
Kind of creepy and a little perverse, but whatever. Let's just go do it. It doesn't
Real
matter.
quick,
Yeah.
Nick. Barrett, can you pull up the image that I sent you?
Give it a
Oh,
second.
great.
They just add Bo Peep to Disneyland.
Oh no.
The new
Oh,
Bo Peep.
yeah.
I hate this.
And
It's not a.
It's a lot.
They put a mask. She's wearing a mask.
So,
Oh wow.
it's a
Like it's
human
not just
being
a person.
with a mask.
That's
and as horrifying as that is, it's not the worst iteration of Bo Peep at Disneyland. It's
there
uploading
another
now. Yeah, it's processing. 1 second.
I like this. We don't like this because
Oh,
the
no.
Disney
masky face.
World.
No, the masky face is terrifying.
but not this terrible.
That's way
Oh my
worse.
God.
That is way worse.
I hate it.
I just don't understand
I
why
hate
Bo
it.
Peep just can't be a normal human woman. Like I don't. Why
Right,
does it have to wear a
yeah.
mask?
He's that porcelain face, man.
Can't they? Which was beautifully rendered in this. I
So-
like that they have moments. I love that she sheds off the dress
Fluffy
and stuff,
skirt,
and
yeah.
she just has a normal like I can kick ass in this outfit. And she's cool, and she's got the lay of the land, man. Everything's like,
Got that little cop partner.
yeah, she's got a little cop partner, which is cool.
A little Polly Pocket.
Polly Pocket,
I
which
love
is
it.
great.
I love
we
it.
get introduced to the skunk, which I thought was one of the coolest things of the whole movie, where it's an RC car with a skunk on top. And he's like, why is it a skunk? And she goes, you'll see. And then as it's going through, skunk!
I'm
everyone has
wondering
to
if
get
it
out of
was
the
a
way.
toy skunk or did they skin like a real
I
skunk?
think they killed the real skunk.
I
Yeah.
think it's a toy skunk.
Because the thing is this, like, what you
No,
have
I
to
thought it
understand
was just a
about
dead skunk
I want
that
it
they
to be a
found.
toy skunk.
toys can't be killed. And so a bunch of toys
Swallow
versus
me.
the skunk.
The skunk swallows Polly
cut your
Pocket
way
and
out.
then just fucking
You cut your way
like
out.
Drax.
Like Drax.
Exactly like that. Meanwhile, back in the RV, everyone's starting to freak the hell out. They don't know what's going on,
Andy.
and Buzz has to use his inner voice to figure out what he's supposed to do. Starts clicking on it, and it's like, go on the mission. And he's like, "Okay, I'm gonna go on the mission." Jumps out of the thing. At some point, also, mom and dad are ready to leave. I think that's a bit later, but I'm just gonna say that now.
Sure.
Jesse goes, "I got a great idea," and just starts stabbing
Hell
tires.
yeah, man.
Which worked because dad's a complete fucking idiot and decided to rent this RV. Spur of the moment, you think this is a bad idea.
Yeah, it
This
was
RV
funny.
has just been nothing but trouble. For
I
them
love
so far.
the bit where they introduce of like what do we do, and
Buttercup.
Buttercup is like, let's get dad arrested.
Yeah.
Let's
No,
get
no.
all
Guy
guy.
out to it too.
By the way, I think Jeff Garland was that. It was Buttercup, if I'm not mistaken. Are you guys familiar
Sounds
with Jeff
right.
Garland?
Yeah, from Curb.
From Curb Your Enthusiasm, he's a comic, yeah. And I love that he was like, we're not getting dad arrested, which has a fucking phenomenal payoff later. Meanwhile, Buzz searches for Woody on his own, seeking guidance with the button introduced. Buzz finds himself as a prize, and so Buzz gets scooped up, and he's now a prize in a carnival. And of course, we meet the two plush toys, Ducky and Bunny. And this is, I thought Key and Peele were going to be, after the trailer, I was like, I don't want a lot of them in this.
I can't believe
Right.
the scene from the trailer was in the movie.
It was.
Right.
Like when we first reacted to it, we are just like, oh, there's no way. Like this is just improv that they're not actually going to use, and they used it. It's like
Multiple, I like the one where it keeps going, and they're like, "Where is this going? Wait for it!" And they keep going back. Also, real quick, hey, I've been gone a couple days. How long has Andy been wearing the Fitbit?
Oh, he's doing that RTX fit for RTX.
It looks great. It looks great on him. I mean, he looks like a child all the time, but this kind of makes him look like a man. You know, he's got like the members jacket on.
yeah.
I'm feeling things for him. You know?
Oh damn.
So, I'm sorry, Bo and Giggle McDimples and they all go to the antique store to find Forky. Yada yada. Meanwhile, Buzz searches for Woody on his own. He gets captured, grabs Ducky and Bunny to help rescue Forky. I forgot. I don't know how he figured out that. I think maybe he sees Woody going into the antique store.
Well, he was doing the buttons thing, which keep actually
Right.
leading him on and over. And
He
doing
saw
the
Woody
thing,
jump.
And then remember,
Right,
he's
he saw Woody
look
jump,
up,
that's right.
because he's
Right,
trying to find
right.
the highway because he's getting back to the highway. And
Right,
then,
so they
yeah.
all meet on the roof of the antique store, where we're also introduced to Ducky and Bunny, and Buzz is like, "Hey, I can get you a kid. Like, just don't worry, I got a kid. You guys
Yeah.
come with us, but we
I
need
got a
your
kid.
help here." They sneak back into the thing.
The Carney guy that attached Buzz and shit, he had a tattoo on his back leg that was the Pizza
Pizza
Planet,
Planet
car.
truck.
Oh wow, that's
He's
cool. Was he
also
the piece? Was he the
somebody
kid?
famous, I forget.
Is he?
Cool. They're all in the antique store now, and they have to hatch the plan. They look over, and they see that Forky's in the cabinet. The cabinet is locked, right? And also
Watched.
all of it's being watched by the sentry posts who are the sentries who are these
So
psychotic,
creepy.
fucking terrifying things. Meanwhile, Gabby, and Forky are talking. And basically, Forky, without knowing it, is spilling all the beans about Woody, basically giving her all the psychological information that she could possibly need to manipulate Woody into giving her the voice box. We learned about Andy. We learned how he's never let go. We learned he just has a real big hang up about this. Bo Peep looks over and says, "There's only one person I know that can make that jump. We need someone who is the best stunt guy on the planet.
Jesus
we got to go
Christ.
make that jump. Follow me." Meanwhile, Buzz, you and the team, you guys have to figure out how to get that key, basically, and also watch out for the cat because the cat has just ripped toys apart.
Also, shout out to the cat because we talked so much shit about the
Cat
dog.
looks so good.
It
Cat
looked
looks-
insane.
That looked great.
Insane.
Bo Peep takes Woody to some sort of machine, right?
pinball
The
machine.
pinball machine, that's what it is. They go through and she's like, "Don't say anything about kids. Just let me lead this because these are all lost toys and they will rip you apart." We get the other half of the doll that's been ripped apart by
Tin Toy opens the door. The first Pixar short Tin Toy.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, he
He
goes.
was
I
going
didn't
to be
catch that.
the original Buzz, but
Yeah.
they're like, we
She
can't
calls
have an
him
old
Tinny.
ass toy.
It's really
Yeah, it
cute.
needs to be
And
something
they're like,
cool.
we need something cool.
There's
so that's
also
why they
an
named Buzz.
Oakland A's bobblehead. I don't know who it is, but he's in there too.
Some sports guy.
Very cool.
He's there. There's a ton of the antique store is
great.
full of all the things, all the Pixar things. One thing is not the key that they're getting, but a key that someone's holding is a replica of Sora's Keyblade from Kingdom Hearts.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's canon.
And then Duke, yeah, it is. And then Duke Kaboom is in Incredibles 2. He's in Jack's.
Is he really?
Little playpen.
Oh, that's really cool. Of course,
What's creepier? First off, creepier as a surveillance thing: the dummies or the monkey from Part 3?
The monkey.
Monkey.
The monkey is
Okay,
terrifying.
yeah.
That
I
monkey
agree.
was terrifying because it was a movie called Monkey Shine and it terrified me when I was a kid. They go in and of course she's like, we gotta find Duke. We need to find Duke Kaboom. He's the only person that can make that jump. And of course, I forgot. And sir, Mr. Reeves, I apologize for forgetting that you were in this movie because what a fucking delight when I heard his voice. He turns around, starts doing the posing, and I'm like, is that motherfucking Keanu Reeves? Is there nothing that this man cannot do, Greg?
No.
He's
And
the
year of
star
Keanu
of
Reeves continues.
Cyberpunk.
It wasn't until this whole.
Excuse me, we're talking about Keanu Reeves over here?
It wasn't
Yeah, why
until
you gotta
this
make it about
that
you, Andy?
the movie really got going for me.
Well,
Like-
we nothing. There's nothing really that's happened in this movie. There's a little light on plot. Doesn't matter because right now
But I was
Keanu Reeves
smiling year to year.
is about to take it up a notch,
yeah.
about 100 feet, and then come right back down.
Boom.
We learn his backstory, which
Which is
is
French Canadian
fucking
kid. Was
hilarious.
awesome.
Was it Renault? What was it? What was the name of his kid?
like that.
Rennie?
Something like that.
No, it was super
It
French
was
Canadian.
super French. And Jen was probably like, "Oh, I understand."
No,
this
no.
part of this
I mean,
movie.
I was watching in Quebec. I got a huge laugh in the
That was
theater.
so funny. Of course, we learned that he was the toy du jour back in the day.
So fucking
and
funny.
when his kid got him, he was super excited because the commercial had him jumping like 800 feet. And then when he got there, he could only really jump like 10 feet. And because it was a commercial, and he kept saying that. Very, very traumatized about this because he had just been cast aside.
Did that ever happen to you as kids?
Oh, yeah,
Like you
every
had
time.
a toy that like.
Well, anytime
did
you had
not-
that little. You press the button and it had to go. It was always like limp.
No,
It just
I
didn't
always
work.
like my
did you
family.
have to use
I
the
remember
little
my
lamp?
dad and my uncles always making fun of the fact that the toys that I would play with in the commercials, they were always like in some jungle playing with toys, or like they were in like some sci-fi.
That's
Yeah.
like, kids in the toy commercials had it the best.
Yeah, oh yeah, totally.
I had
dude.
the mask toy that I think is on set.
Mama,
that where
mask.
you hit the button and the boat shoots out from underneath it. And after like the third time, the spring just didn't have the same give.
Sure.
And it would just kind of limp out.
My brother bought Nike Shocks, the shoes that had the,
Yeah, the
little
springs.
springs in the commercials. They made you jump
You're
real
supposed to jump
high.
800 feet.
And
You got to look at the
he
asterisk.
was very
bro.
sad when
You always
that
got to look at the
happens.
asterisks because it's like it will not make you jump this high.
And
That's
the
what it said.
commercial announcer, the voice, was Flea from Red Hot Chili
Fuck
Peppers.
yes.
Really?
What?
What?
Bill Hader was the carny that I was thinking of.
Oh, that's awesome.
Bunch of good cameos.
That's great. So they recruit. Bo talks him into this.
But before we find out what happens, Nick, what was Bo Peep up to?
Bo Peep talks him into coming on this fun adventure with him. Meanwhile, Buzz and Ducky and Bunny are trying to strategize about how they're going to get this key from the shopkeeper, this beautiful old lady. And this is, to me, one of the funniest moments in the entire movie because he goes, "This is what we should do," and we cut to them waiting there. And then in a terrifying manner, both Ducky and Buddy jump out at her face and assault this woman and try to steal the key. And then it cuts back and Buzz is like, "No, like we're not doing that." Right. And they go, "Okay, we have another idea." And it's the exact same idea.
Just takes a little longer.
It just takes a little longer. And then the third time they're like, "Oh, okay, how about this?" And it's so drawn out. They go home with her.
Characters interrupt.
She takes a
has a
bath.
bath, she has
goes
wine.
turns the light off as she go to sleep. We wait a beat, and then you hear the scream. And he's like, "No, we're not going to do that." And then they see it.
That's the best comedic moment I think in the whole movie.
I thought it was great.
So great.
Well, second best. I love the last line of the movie that actually got a laugh, like a guttural laugh out loud at me. But we'll get to that. Of course, we're about to do the jump. Everyone's getting prepped. Buzz shows up with the key, and they're like, "Oh my god, how'd you get the key?" "Oh, it was really, really hard. We had to do all this stuff. We had to use our brains." And it turns out it cuts back to about 5 seconds ago. She just put the key right now next to him. Like that was the part where she
So
puts the key,
great.
which is great. They launch. They tie a line to the back of Keanu Reeves' motorcycle, and Woody gets on because he has to as well. Bo's like, "It's going to be great." And he's like, "Yeah, it's going to be great." But he's like, "I don't know if I can do this." And he's like, you have no choice. Boom. We start off, and about halfway down the ramp, what is his name? Dash? No.
Duke
Starts freaking out because starts having like some sort of PTSD or
He
some
sees
bad,
the kid.
Yeah, he sees the kid. in front of
Renault's
it.
like head floating.
They go off. They almost go crazy. They almost go, but Woody steadies him, and they go off the jump. And then Woody kind of jumps off of the bike as well and manages to make it to the cabinet. Everyone swings over with the key. They open it up. Woody's still attached with little string. We get there, and of course, their plan is thwarted because Gabby has been waiting for them. Forky's there. I think they grab Forky, and then the cat pulls him down or something. There's a kerfuffle. Somehow they all wind up. The cat's there. Woody grabs everyone, and the cat just kind of leads them out of danger. But I think
the cat chases Kaboom.
That's right, because Kaboom kind of goes down and is like, come on, for a ball or whatever it is. He has a great moment there. It leads him.
Gia's real name is Gabriella. And when she was young, at some point, she had to change her name to Gia because her parents were like, you talk way too much to go by Gabby.
That's
Wow.
So that's the origin story.
That's really
of
funny.
Gia Harris.
Oh my gosh.
That's funny.
So they, I guess, they get away, right? They get out. And then Woody's like, we got to go back in. Because I guess they saw Bonnie walk in and she had the backpack that she dropped the backpack in the thing. That's an element that we have to remember because that comes in at the end.
Sure. If that happens, yeah, that's a thing.
But everyone's like...
Woody, again, fucking Forky gets left behind. Everybody gets out but Forky again.
And
so Woody's like, we have to go back in. And everybody's like, no, we're not doing this. And Woody refuses to budge to his friend's demands.
And here's what I thought. I was like, wait, Bo, we've already established that Bo Peep can fix anything. Why don't we just offer that service? But that never came up. I thought that was going to be a payoff where we're like, hey, Gab, we'll just fix your thing. So you don't have to rip my fucking, you don't have to rip my voice out from my
We have
back.
a lot of resources.
But yeah, we've got like
got
a whole
skunks.
squirrel full of, or a skunk full of things.
Squirrel full of shit.
Everyone's like, you're being selfish, Woody. And I think Buzz calls him out, or someone calls him out and is like, yo, you got to let this shit go. Like, Bonnie doesn't care about you. She'll make another Forky. Thanks, G. There it is.
You have Bo,
Appreciate it. No Bo tonight for you. And so they all leave him, and he's like, I'm going back in. And he realizes what he has to do. He goes back in, and he says, listen, you give me Forky, and I'll give you my voice box. And you think, cool, at any point now, all of his friends that should have actually probably followed him back in because they're actually trying to save a toy's life here. Does a toy's life not fucking matter to anyone? And this is Bonnie that we're talking about. You're all shitty toys. Buzz has just gave up on him.
But this is back to the argument of what their purposes are, right? Where Woody's only doing this because he feels like this is all he can do. This is his one purpose left to do. When in reality, he's risking the lives of all of his friends to go in after something that's trash that Bonnie will get over. Oh, this isn't a real toy.
It's true, but Bonnie has cried for 4 days
It's also
straight
that he just
because she
doesn't
lost this
listen
toy.
to them. That's the problem, right? It's more.
Well, he's being very selfish.
Yeah, exactly. It's more of Woody going back to being selfish, even though he's being selfish for good reasons of trying to save a life.
He's searching also for his purpose.
Right.
Like, this is giving him a purpose. Like, going back, getting Forky makes him win.
I think at some point that's what he says, right? They're like, "Why do you want this so bad?" And I think he breaks down and goes, "Because this is all I've got.
Yeah.
This is all I got left. This is my only thing I got left."
And then she says, like, what about us? Like,
yeah, and she's like, "Well, you could have another purpose with us. We could go hang out, make out on top of the carousel." And he's like, "Cool, let's do it." End the movie. Fuck this for. This is stupid anyway. He goes back in. And of course, we get the most terrifying scene of any Toy Story movie ever made. He goes, "I'll give you my voice box, just give me Forky." And you think, okay, his friends are going to come save him last minute. We're like, surely they're not going to show in depth this surgery as they rip open his fucking back and sew him together to all the other toys, just like the fucking Caterpillar movie that one dude made. Remember, where it was like
Human Centipede?
Yeah, that's what it was.
Caterpillar.
I mean, might as well have just showed that to the kids.
Oh my goodness.
This is terrifying.
Caterpillar.
He's
It's a seminal classic.
He's like Caterpillar thought he was gonna go into a Bug's Life.
I haven't watched that one nearly as much as I watched Human Centipede.
Caterpillar and that RC controlled squirrel.
Oh my god! What a great movie. They take the voice box out, and Gabby, true to her word, goes, "You know what? Here you go. You're good to go."
Surprising.
She actually just wanted the voice box. She wasn't trying to hurt anyone. She just
A nice
wanted
change
it.
of pace for a villain in a Toy Story movie that isn't really is a villain, but isn't really a villain.
Like,
You know
she's
what I
not
mean?
gonna
She
try
just
to.
has needs.
Yeah, I thought she was gonna do the Lotso thing of like, all right, now,
Okay,
cool,
now
yeah, burn it, gotcha,
So,
bitch,
yeah.
you know, or whatever.
And she sets it up really well, right? Of like, you know, you've had 2 kids, Woody, right? You've had all of these great experiences. I'd give anything for just one of those moments.
Yeah.
And, you know, Woody, again, searching for purpose is like, all right, cool.
But during a lot of this, I still had those feelings of like unease. Like,
Sure.
I thought she was still
Yeah,
going to do
something
something
else.
Yeah,
Those
as
eyes.
she's giving him this speech, yeah, it's sort of the same thing that the prospector was doing, where
Right.
he was
Like,
kind
I
of
never
like
had a
Right.
purpose.
He was just,
Yeah,
he
like-
was conning him the entire time for his own
I got
personal
those same
needs.
vibes where I thought like, oh, this isn't over, dude. We're
I mean,
still kind of fucking.
one could make the argument that she was going to abandon all of her faithful sentries, and
Yeah.
they're just going to be sitting at that
They're
store for the
just
rest of their life.
brainless. They're like they're like the arms in Iron Man. Remember the little guys who like the dunce cap guys? Like they're just
Yeah.
they're not. They don't have real feelings. They
It's
can't
true.
talk.
It's
They're
true.
lame.
They're terrifying. So
No?
Monster.
it's finally her chance. We see the Susie.
They're literally dummies.
Yeah, literally dummies.
Harmony.
We see the young grandchild of the auntie. What was her name?
Harmony.
Harmony. Harmony and I are going to be best friends. It's going to be great. Gabby gets up onto the thing and pulls a little string or whatever. And Harmony sees her and goes, "Oh, wow, an old doll." And looks at it, pulls the string, and man, we hit her right. We try to hit right in the heartstrings.
Yeah.
I'm Gabby, and I love you.
I'm your
Or,
best friend
I'm your
or
best.
whatever.
I'm going to be your best friend, or I need a friend, or something really super
You
desperate.
got a friend in me.
And Harmony looks at it and goes, and goes, "Wow, it's
We're
a
so
beautiful,
close.
this beautiful old doll that's just rendered in creepy accuracy, real life uncanny valley accuracy." And her grandma goes, "You can take it home with you if you want." And Harmony goes, "Nah," and just throws her the fuck away, just like she deserves. Because again, when you take someone's spleen without them like letting you do that, you're a criminal.
Woody consented. Woody
Woody
consented.
Okay, but
It was
under
a consented
duress.
spleen
Under
transplant.
duress. If someone kidnapped Greg and said, "Nick, I need your spleen," I'd be like, "Greg, it's been great. It's been great. We had a great time together. You're dead. You're dead as doornails."
With the backstory of this, the Grappler and Stogie, I don't think we're the ones getting kidnapped.
That's true. Belinda, watch your back. So after this, I think Bo comes back at this point and goes, "Yeah, I'm sorry. Like, I was wrong to leave you."
Yeah,
Because she realized she loved Woody for his loyalty.
Exactly.
She's like, all right,
It's
he's
the
just
one thing I
being
love
the-
Oh yeah, they had a
the man that I
conversation
love.
outside about this, right?
Yeah.
Where it's
Yeah.
like, yeah, don't you love him for it or whatever?
Yeah.
Buzz at this point has gone back to the RV and it's like they're not coming back or whatever. But they're basically Woody's like, "Listen, we have a kid. She'll love you. Come back. You'll meet Bonnie. Bonnie will love you." Taking a lot of like. This might have been the thing that if Bonnie rejected
Right,
Gabby at this point,
yeah.
may have just turned her into a psycho.
I was scared. I was like,
Comes
you
the
can't
Chucky doll.
just
Yeah,
like
this is
adopt
psychotic.
everybody.
Yeah, we already kind of promised Ducky and Bunny
Right,
they have a little spot here. And at some point, Mom's gonna turn around and be like, "Where the fuck did all these new toys come from?" Like who? And they're big. They're not like they're taking small. But we got. It's fucking thing.
Bought you this skunk
Like, at a certain point, you're either thinking,
And then all the
A,
marionettes.
the
just like,
toys are alive, or B, my child is a thief.
Kleptomaniac.
Is a kleptomaniac.
and then she only wants the spork.
Yeah. But we don't get there because what happens is we're on the rooftops and we look down and we see a child who is lost. And it's a really good scene actually, where we see this and this kid's crying and is in the corner and doesn't know what's going on. And it reminds me of the time I got lost in a Harris's, which was a department store, and my mom caught me trying to look up the skirt of a mannequin. That is a true story. Let's move right on.
Were you really
Absolutely
lost?
the same.
No, I was like, I'm lost. I might take this opportunity
but
to
I found
explore
myself.
around a little bit. And the security guard, I just felt the arm go, "No, sir. No, sir. Kid.
You're 15.
It was 2 days ago. It was a JCPenney. All right. So they see it and they go, this is an opportunity right here. This kid is in a vulnerable state, and this is right when toys strike. Let's get Gabby in there. And she goes, "I don't know. I don't know if I can deal with rejection again." And they say, "Listen, you got to you got to take a risk.
Damn, Nick.
You got to risk it to get the biscuit. Okay, she's gonna love you. Just leave it to faith. Come on, let's try. This is gonna be great." They move her over into the light, which I thought was cool, and then they pull the cord, I think, again, and the kid looks over and sees it, and goes, "Are you lost too?"
I'll help you.
And there's a touching moment. "I'll help you," and hugs her, and we get a great shot of Gabby like. As the kid's hugging her, you see it. It's very like, this is the magic of Pixar.
Hell yeah, man.
It's a doll's eyes, but you see the emotion in the
Right.
eyes of like, I'm finally being hugged. Like I finally am feeling that feeling.
In that same exact vein of the magic of Pixar and how good they are, and I don't think I'm butchering it, but when Woody in the very beginning of the movie gets tossed back in the closet and drops, there's this awesome thing where he's Toy Woody, and he's still Toy Woody, but he sinks his shoulders in defeat.
Yeah.
And he
Yeah.
doesn't change his facial expression. I was
Right.
like, oh, like that guy.
Yeah.
So good.
So subtle.
Of course, Gabby gets taken over, and a security guard finds the kid, and then they find the parents. The parents are there, of course. Parents were like 4 feet away. But when you're a kid, 4 feet is fucking an ocean. It's an abyss. You don't know what's going on. You don't have a credit card. You don't have AAA. You can't get home. The girl goes, introduces Gabby to the mom and dad. And the mom and dad are like, great, no questions asked.
Cool.
Because I think the mom and
picking
dad
up trash. Awesome.
Yeah, probably had
This
a very
thing doesn't
similar.
have bed bugs and a scorpion up its ass.
You
It's
found
gonna
that?
come out.
You found that at a local carnival? Sure, why not? Let's take it. Let's
Go
take it
and
to
sleep
your
with it.
bed. Yeah,
Put it on your pillow.
Let's see what happens. Gabby, I thought a great little redemption story here
totally.
for someone who probably doesn't deserve it, but that's the power of Woody. Woody's like, I'm loyal. I'm a good person. I'm trying to make everyone happy, and that's
Right.
great. And Bo sees that, and that's when. But they got to get back to the RV, right? Is that what happened?
The RV's coming to them.
I forget. Yeah, the RV message had already gotten back that they needed to get the RV to the carousel.
Right?
How did they get the message back to him?
Wasn't it Buzz?
Was Buzz like,
Go back
oh,
with it?
that's
Yeah,
right. Buzz is like, we got to get it back.
That's when
To the carousel.
Yeah, that's right. That's
And
right.
that's when Rex is,
Yeah,
or
they-
they're all fucking with the RV.
GPS.
Oh my
Yeah, that
god,
was
so
funny.
good. And then, so they meet on top of the carousel. But not Dash. What the hell's his name? Duke has to do one more jump, and he can do it this time. And he does the jump off the carousel.
No, he
over
does it off the
merry-go-round.
no carousel merry-go-round. The same thing. He does it off the
Ferris
giant
wheel.
The Ferris wheel. That's what it
Thank
is.
you.
Thank you.
Right.
I think they even said that right. He's like the merry-go-round. Oh, it's the carousel,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Yeah, exactly what he's trying to explain it to Forky. He was like an
Forky.
idiot, right?
Yeah.
What's a carousel? Or what's a merry-go-round?
That's right. Did
carousel?
Forky carry the message back? Somehow they got the message back. It doesn't matter. The RV. I thought this scene was great. The dad just being tortured by this thing and clearly never going to fucking run an RV again. The cops start following him, and lo and behold, what should happen right when they get to the actual carousel is the cops pull him over and they start to arrest him. And then we get that payoff to that Jeff Garland joke.
So
Really,
funny.
What do you got for me, Barry?
So funny.
I remember how the message got back. So after Woody got the surgery, him and Forky find Bonnie's backpack and go in the backpack. And then when Gabby gets rejected, Woody decides,
he gets out.
I'm going to go help her.
That's right.
Forky, tell
That's
Buzz
right,
and all
the
that.
Right,
Carousel
that's
Meet us
because
at the
Forky was doing the unlock,
Yes.
lock, unlock.
Yes.
I have a job for you. Just so funny. And then he's like, "Wait a minute, if you're here, who's good?" And then so it's great. They launch the. I thought it was good
Awning
as
thing.
Woody and Bo are standing on top of the carousel. They have to bridge the gap between that and the RV, and so they launch the patio like overhang thing, the shade, and everyone walks out, and we get a great moment where. I mean, we get the best moment of the whole thing where Woody's like has to say goodbye to Bo.
Well, not even that. I'm sorry. You're
No.
right. You're right there. No, I'm cutting
has
you
to say
off.
goodbye to Bo, and then realizes that he doesn't want to leave her, and that his job is done. And he looks over, and that moment with Buzz where he's like, "Bonnie's gonna be okay."
No, that
says-
for me is the moment. Yeah, when Woody comes
He
back.
says
Woody
she's
comes
gonna
back.
be okay, and you think that he's
Exactly.
talking about Bo,
Yeah.
and then he says Bonnie's gonna be okay,
So,
and then you
And then it
just
clicks for Woody that he can go back. He can go
Yeah.
back and be a nomad toy.
Jesus.
Really good.
Jesus.
And then Forky comes up.
Well, they all
and-
start saying goodbye to
Yeah,
everybody.
they all start saying goodbye, and Forky starts saying goodbye. He's like, "Wait a minute, if you're here, who the hell's down there?" Dad's back in the car,
Yeah.
and Mom realizes that she needs to retract the thing because they got to take off. And time's up, ready to go. Woody launches himself back over to Bo, hangs out, and they say bye as the rest of the toys jump back in. Bonnie comes back in. Mom looks over, and the toys are perfectly displayed with Forky there as well as the RV takes off.
To infinity.
And beyond.
beyond.
God,
To
that
get
was
that
so
to
good,
beyond
right?
is good.
So
Like,
good.
go to hell, Pixar.
Yeah, you
Jesus.
motherfuckers. It's just
I
like,
couldn't
all
even see
right.
the last part of the movie. I was just crying so bad.
So what are the after credits things? I made it through the first one where I got there as they gave away all the toys, and then we were late
There's
for something.
a
We had to go.
few.
They had the one where there's a new Forky. It's another.
Oh God! And,
So they recreated the like Mrs. Potato Head thing of like there being another one.
So Bonnie, it's another day of school, and I think Jesse is the one
Yeah.
that's like, "Hey, everyone, don't freak out." But Bonnie made another friend,
Yeah.
and it's a knife.
Yeah.
And Forky has a great line where he's like, he sees her, immediately falls in love, and walks over and he's like, "Hi, you're gonna be okay. I'll answer any question that you have." And she goes, "How am I alive?" And he goes, "I have no idea." And I literally laughed out loud at that. It was such perfect delivery. He's like, "I have no idea."
That was great.
It was so good.
When the toys are saying goodbye, his goodbye to Jesse when he takes the star.
bag.
Oh my
Like,
God.
Yeah.
These motherfuckers, they're too
It was
good.
good.
They're
Because
too good.
he had taken it back from her because he that was holding on to that identity, and then he just goes, "No, you
You're the
you are
chief
the
now."
sheriff now." She
This
likes you.
is
You're her favorite toy.
Thor and fucking
Valkyrie.
Valkyrie being like the new king
Castle
or whatever.
Thor,
Yeah,
that was cool.
So good, dude.
And then there's a lot of just gags and stuff, but the best was the
Very
very, very,
end.
very end after the credits. You see the Disney castle again, like from the beginning of the intro, and then you see the Pixar logo, but instead of the lamp jumping on it, Duke Kaboom comes. He's kind of like bouncing on it. And then the combat Carl comes.
The
They high
Arctic.
five.
The third one that couldn't get the high five.
And then he
gets the
comes
high
in, and then he high fives, and everyone's like, "Yeah!"
Yeah, the theater lost their
Yeah.
shit. It's awesome.
It was,
It was
good-
awesome.
yeah.
Nothing sadder than a missed high five. You know.
Yeah.
It was a lot. It was like he lost like 2 or 3. Like it kept
He could not get a
happening.
break. Those other
So
guys
many
are just
casualties.
dickheads.
I know.
God, I love
And that's it. No more Toy Story movies ever made.
it. We're good for another
That's it.
10 years.
Another 10 years.
So there you go. You want to do a little ragu vagu?
Dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-down.
Ragu.
Dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-down.
What? Thank you, Randy. Randy and/or Megatron. What's up, everybody? Welcome to Rad Guys Talk Bad Guys, the podcast within the podcast at Ragu Bagu Vids on Twitter. When was the last time we
have
updated
fun
that?
here.
I tried to do something with it, and you changed the password. I forgot all about it.
That's there.
All right, it's still out there. It's still a fun follow. Go back and look at old gifs. I'm one of your hosts, Greg, alongside my 2 co-hosts, Belinda and Andy.
Hey, guys.
What's up?
This is where we rank all the Toy Story Cinematic Universe villains. So far, the list looks like this. Number 3, Woody / Mr. P Head / Sid. Number 2, Prospector / Al. Number 1, Lotsa. Where do we want to put Gabby and her cronies?
I wouldn't rank her over any of them. I thought she
Number
was
4?
Yeah.
Bottom of the list. She's
Like,
the best redemption
She's a
for
great
sure.
antagonist, but I wouldn't call her a bad guy
She's
or a bad gal.
yeah, she's a tortured soul.
Yeah.
She doesn't, you know what I mean? She's just looking for love, and she's been burned so many times.
But we don't. I guess like I still rank her. I would still rank her higher because she was more intriguing to me than Sid was and stuff. Like we don't really rank these on
remember,
how
there's
bad
Woody.
are they. We rank them on like how good of a performance, how how
Sure.
Are you
deep
hating
they're.
on Andy Brinker himself?
I kind of am. Yeah, I would put him over Woody and everybody
P.
else
Head and Sid?
in part 1. Yeah, but I don't know if I liked her more than
Lotso.
or
Prospector.
I follow Belinda. I'd put her at a strong number 4.
All right, fuck
Really?
really.
I feel like she's the most like.
We don't take questions from the
Sorry, I
audience.
apologize. I forgot I'm not part of this. I forgot.
For $69 or something.
Until
I don't know.
a decade later, when we do Toy Story 5, Ragu Bagu Volume 4 reads like this. Number 1, Lotsa. Number 2, Prospector / Al. Number 3, Woody / Mr. P Head / Sid. And number 4, Gabby.
Wow. Andy, can you hit me with some of that haiku in review?
7 syllables in the middle. You need 5 for the first and last line. If you're not poetic, no need to fret. Haikus don't need to rhyme. Haiku in review. Haiku in review. Everybody, now stop.
There you go. Jasic writes in and says, the feels keep hitting. I cried no less than 10 times. Bo Peep, here I come. Ignacio Rojas says, the cowboy says goodbye. He found a new purpose in life. Shit, I'm crying again. Evan, we got Mr. Cool Guy over here, says, hey, I didn't cry. To infinity and beyond. Damn it, Pixar.
It got him.
Yeah. And then Nanobiologist says, Woody has retired to travel the world with all toys. Favorite toys. There you go.
Just bringing back the feels, man.
There you go. And now it is time to rank Toy Story 4. Barry, can you bring up the current rankings?
Made it really
This
last
is good.
second.
I like this one though.
I love you so much.
No,
I
Andy.
like how
that
it's
for-
last second, but last week he's like, "Oh, I forgot to do it," and then he made it last second anyway.
Not bad.
Current rankings: number 1, Toy Story 3. Number 2, Toy Story 2. Number 3, Toy Story 1. What are the thoughts? Toy Story 4.
To me, I didn't think this was as complete of a movie as part 3. I do think that, again, I mentioned earlier in the review, until they sort of got to the breakout and the Duke Kaboom stuff,
Sure.
that's where I felt the movie started getting really enjoyable. And that's, for me, from then on, it was like, I think, kind of perfect. But leading up until then, there was a little bit of hesitation for me where I'm thinking, like, I don't know if I'm necessarily loving this movie. I think most of that comes from the fact that I missed the first 30 minutes.
I was totally lost for 2 hours. I had no idea. Who's Woody?
I think most of that comes from the fact that a lot of the humor didn't hit for me. I felt like it was overdone and overused in moments. But yeah, once that first breakout scene started, and then we get Duke Kaboom, and it was just like fucking pedal to the metal. Let's go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, for me, I think this had the fun factor of Toy Story 2 because
It's the funniest one for sure.
I think it's more of an adventure movie, but it was I left going that was a little light on plot, and also a lot of the themes we already really explored. I thought better in Toy Story 3. I thought the idea of like what does it mean to be something that doesn't have a use anymore, I thought was a little bit better and more well rounded in 3. Right. And in this one, it was cool, and I like that Woody can go on and gets sort of like his sunset story. But I just feel like I can't help but feel like when I left 3, even watching it for the second time like last week, I was like, God, that was really good. And like you really feel for those characters.
For me personally, I put it at number 3. Toy Story 4 at number 3 behind Toy Story 2. And my problem is here's the thing, obviously the argument. I think it's obviously the best looking one of the Toy Stories. I think it honestly might be the most complete plot in terms of a movie. The problem is and I don't mean this to be as insulting as it probably sounds. To me, it's not canon. I didn't want this. This is the direct to VHS sequel that I don't care about, right? Where it's like Toy Story 3 was perfect. It was such a perfect pin in the story and we're done. Then when we walked down, I was talking to Jen, she's like, oh, but it's such a great end to Woody's story, and like I'm like, I didn't need this epilogue for Woody. I thought it was a happy ending. It was bittersweet happy ending of guess what, you're with Bonnie and that's all perfect. Whereas now he's a misfit toy and like fucking spoilers, everybody. In 10 years or whatever it's going to be Toy Story 5 where there's some other adventure that brings them all together. They're doing it, and then they're going to end up on a shelf. They're going to end up on a shelf at Goodwill, and Andy's going to walk in and buy the whole group for his kid, and it's going to be a sweet ending there too. But it's like Toy Story 3 was perfect of an ending. I didn't need this ending of them separating. I don't think it does justice to the rest of the cast that we were with, like we talked about, where it's like Buzz doesn't feel like Buzz. I understand, Don Rickles passing away, so Mr. P doesn't be Mr. P. But even like Jesse didn't have much to do. It's just like, I understand we need to keep things fresh and do stuff. I love Bo Peep. Bo Peep's a great character. Amazing. I love what they do with her here. I love her storyline. But it's just like, I didn't need this thing of like you're talking about. Like I feel like they already dealt with these themes of where do they go, what do they do next. I didn't need to see it again.
You hit the nail on the head for me. I know everybody else has to go, but yeah, during we're in the RV and Forky's trying to jump in the trash. I immediately thought like this feels like a TV
like
special.
A short, like a long.
This feels like a TV special that we'd see.
It feels like the return
before
of
the
Jafar.
Super Bowl or some shit like that. Like it just felt like a weird sort of thing.
Exactly, it's fantastic. Yeah, I disagree with you guys. I think that this is a great movie where it's doesn't feel like a TV thing to me. I feel like they did the existence stuff and like the theme and like the characters totally different than the other ones. It's similar because at the end of the day, these are toys and we're going over similar stories in Toy Story. But I think that they did a great job kind of like, again, just getting to the core of like what's a good story to tell. And I feel like there was a story to tell here, and it being the end of Woody's story, I think they did a great job with. I think the Toy Story 3 is 10 out of 10 perfect. I think that's the perfect end. If they ended there, I would have been totally happy. But I'm surprised that I'm leaving this being like, I really liked that. I'll watch Toy Story 5, 6, 7, 8 if they're this good and be hyped about it. Having said that, it's my number 4. Like easily my number 4.
Really?
Yeah. I thought it was the funniest movie. I enjoyed the hell out of it. Had a great time. It hit me, but I never like ugly cried. Like there wasn't even a moment. Like seeing the Bonnie on the foot and the Infinity and Beyond at the end is like it got me, but like I wasn't. Toy Story 3, I was a mess. And I think that there's a pretty decent drop from 3 down to 2, and 2 and 1 I would actually even flip, and I'd put 1 over 2. But I think that this is the 4th, but I would still say it's like a probably 9 out of 10 in my book.
I think Toy Story 4 was really, really amazing, and it was really great, and it was fun, and it was beautiful. But for me, I'm attached to, Andy's original toys. I'm attached to Rex and Ham and all of them. And so the fact that we didn't get a lot of them in this one was kind of taking it away from me. Again, with like the Buzz thing, and it's like Jessie had like, maybe 10 lines, and I'm like, but I love Jessie. I want to hear her talk more, but I understand that you have like a whole new cast of characters and you can't do that. Toy Story 3 is my favorite movie, period. Like of all time, I think it's perfect. I think it gives you everything. I think the gap between 2 and 3 like totally worked with like when I grew up. Like I saw 3 in my senior year of high school, so it was just like super emotional. But I loved 4 a lot, and I would put it at 3.
Yeah,
I would put it at 3.
For me, what I like about 4 is the possible. Look, let me compare this to another series that you guys probably aren't familiar with. Little series called Fast and Furious, right? Oh where this might be where we start getting the Woody Bo spin-off series, And I'm okay with that. But that's what this kind of felt like. This felt like, hey, we don't need to do this movie, but let's just do it because it's going to be fun. And you could tell they had fun making it. And it was a fun movie. But like, I'm right with Greg, where if you'd have said Toy Story 1, 2, and 3, that's a trilogy, almost a perfect trilogy right there.
It is a perfect trilogy.
And it's a perfect trilogy in that distinctly different types of movies, different themes being explored, and at the end of it, it all comes full circle where you start to get that these toys have just a couple real. There's only two real options for their future. They're either going to spend the rest of their life in darkness, or they find a new kid. That's pretty much it. And I like that they're like, as long as we stick together and as long as we like are a unit in a group, we can go forward together and be meaningful in a different way to a different kid. And I like that. And in this one, it's fine, but like they're gonna make another spinoff at some point with Bo and Woody.
Well, they already have with Disney Plus launching in November. They already have a Bo Peep short, and then they have a series of Forky shorts.
There you go.
Already lined
so
up.
I mean, you can see why they're doing why this movie kind of got made, and you know, it's no surprise. Like, yeah, they want to capitalize off this more and tell some more stories in this universe. Great. Did this movie need to be made? No. Did I enjoy the hell out of it and cry a little bit? Yeah, I did.
Totally.
I did.
Same here.
So now it's time to rank the Toy Story universe.
7 syllables in.
Who thinks it's better than Toy Story 1? Raise your hand.
I'll probably say it's better than Toy Story 1.
Everyone raised their hand except for me. Who thinks it's better than Toy Story 2? Raise your hand. No one raises their hand.
I mean, I will say I had probably as much fun, if not a little bit more fun in this than Toy Story 2.
Nick raises his
I'll raise my
hand.
hand.
I'm on the same page, but
I'm not gonna fight it if you guys are like. Put
I
your
feel
hand
like this
down, I would put
movie
my hand
was
down.
funnier than part 2, but I just liked the whole vibe of part 2. I like the
I like the
Such
high
great-
vibing
yeah.
from them, you know.
Such great writing in 2. I think like all the lines when you were reading them, we were like, like every single time.
And also, 2 had something that I like about the original couple movies, where it was very fast, very fast clip. It was very lean movie. There was nothing in there improv wise that we didn't need. Where in this we had a few lines extra, and you guys talked about the trash, the Forky and stuff that kind of beat you over the head. I just give it a little bit of a nod above 2 because I thought it was fun, but also just gorgeous. Like watching this, you're like, this is like some of the best rendered thing I've ever seen in my entire life, and that goes a long way.
The amount of detail
Just a stunning
on
movie.
Everything, like wood, metal, rust, everything was just
Dust
It
was
was
even-
eye candy to look at. As somebody who comes from like a 3D
Oh, you got your
background,
first dust bunny.
I was just fucking looking at everything. I will say, you know what? I will put this above 2 because 2 had the really shitty bloopers.
I love the
Really,
bloopers.
the bloopers.
Man, you're just
I
pissing
love
Belinda
the
off.
bloopers. I want bloopers for everything.
Hell yeah, Rush Hour 2, baby. So there you go. The new ranking of the Toy Story universe: number 1, Toy Story 3; number 2, Toy Story 2; number 3, Toy Story 4; and number 4, Toy Story 1. And that's it. That's Toy Story.
How about that?
And yeah, to infinity and beyond.
Greg, sing us out.
We'll see you in a decade for money.
Disney
They're gonna
really
keep
likes
making
this.
this. Turn the lights back on.
Well, you
Just-
can't
yeah.
close
Come on,
it out.
Kevin
That's when you're
Coelho.
He's
closing
not
it
the
out.
host, Barrett.
Next,
You
next,
listen to the host, Barrett.
Greg, sing us out, Greg. Sing us out, Greg.
You got the money from Disney.
next week we're doing Spider-Man: Far From Home in review, going back to where it all began, MCU in review. But we're doing it on Wednesday because we're actually watching the movie on Tuesday. So KFAF is on Tuesday. Reminder.
Fuck.
Am I recapping
In
that?
review is on Wednesday, and Greg Miller will be doing the recap for
I'm back,
MCU
webheads.
in review.
Whose
and
penis is hanging out? It's
then
Spider-Man's.
the week after that, we're doing Dark Phoenix.
Maybe he's got the new
Unfortunately,
MeUndies
I'm
where you
sorry.
can go through the fence
Bye.
instead of over
now
the
you
gate.
now you can cut it off.
All right.
Ah, damn it.